Okay, so here's the forecast ARIMA function. And this returns forecasts and other information for univariate ARIMA models. So we have a univariate ARIMA model stored in here. So this function takes the object, which is the model. So it's an object of class ARIMA, which is that model that I just showed you here. Takes that. And then H, next thing H, is the number of periods for forecasting. So I think we're using H as 24. So here's H as 24, 24 months into the future. And the next is the confidence level. So if you know statistics, we can talk about a 95% confidence interval, or a 90% confidence interval, or 99% confidence interval, and this is a 90% confidence interval. So if we wanted a 99% confidence interval, it would be even wider, right? If it's 90%, we don't have to be as broad. If we want to be 99% sure, we're going to have to say the range is bigger. But anyway, so this is a 90% interval. Then we have fan, XREG, and bootstrap. So suitable for fan plots. XREG, future values of a regression variable. This was set to null, and bootstrap true. Okay, this is some stuff that we don't have time to go through. Bootstraps. And details. So it says for an ARIMA object, which I think we have an ARIMA object. The function this function calls a different function called either this function or this function. So it's like a wrapper, kind of, like we've discussed before, and constructs an object of class forecast from the results. Okay. Now, when in the documentation, when they talk about value, that means the output of the function. So what's the output of this function? And the output is an object of class forecast. So it's a forecast object, and then so when you print it, you'll get certain kinds of results. The function summary is used to obtain and print a summary of the results, while the function plot applied to this object produces a plot of the forecasts and the prediction intervals. Now, how do they get the whole, not just the forecast, and we want the whole thing? How did they do that? Anyway, we'll see that in a minute. And a little more description here about this object. It says an object of class forecast is a list, and it contains at least the following elements. So it contains the model, information about the model, the name of the forecasting method used as a character string, point forecast as a time series, lower limits for prediction area intervals, upper limits for prediction intervals, the confidence values associated with the prediction area intervals, that means like 90% or whatever, the original time series, so the original time series is there, and residuals from the fitted model, residuals, okay. Alright, and here's some examples. Okay, let's look at ours. So it contains not only the predictions, but as I just pointed out, it also contains the original data, so that when you plot it, you get the whole plot. So let's try it. Now, this shouldn't take very long because it's just plugging numbers. It's not searching for models anymore. We already chose our model. It's just searching through. I'm sorry, it's just applying the model to a few data points, so it should be instantaneous. Okay, so that's done. And then we can plot the results. And when we plot the results, we get this. And so this is the predicted part I wonder if there's some way to make that, why that was blue. I don't know. Maybe one of these arguments determines that. Anyway, this is the predicted part, and this is the confidence interval for that. And we could also do, I guess we could do, let's see if this works. Yeah, it works. But all it gives you is, well, you get, yeah, okay, so you get information about, did we do that already? No. You get information about the model, and then you get the actual values. So what does it predict for December 2013? This. What does it predict for January 2014? This. And these are the low and the high. So in other words, we predict 93.25219, but the 90% confidence interval means that we say that really it's going to be between 92.82959 and 93.67478, which is, this is contained in this interval, right? And so on. Now these should be getting bigger and bigger, wider and wider. So by November 14th, it's a wider interval, and this goes all the way down for 12 months, I guess. So, not sure what that is. Point forecast, high low. Not sure what these are actually. December. Okay. Anyway, all right. So now the last part. Well, first of all, so we do this for all 4 of the models. So we do this for the manufacturers, durable goods orders, and the other 2 as well. And then we do this, but I'm not going to go into this. So if you want to know about the Granger test of causality, you can look that up, and then you can run this and figure out what the results are. He says, suggestions for the student: explore additional forecasting methods, such as exponential smoothing, explore dynamic linear models and state space approaches, gather data on additional economic measures that might be regarded as leading indicators, select an industry to study, examine relevant economic indicators and possible relationships to financial performance of companies within that industry. So these could all be projects for you guys, maybe even a thesis in your 4th year if you're doing something in economics. Okay, that's it for this chapter.